Good evening, YouTube. This is Kayleen Stern coming at you with Saturday night live stream. I just read that Old Smoky is going to postpone his usual weekend live show till tomorrow because he is at a family event. So I thought, you know what? I think some people might still want to see his Saturday night review. So I'm going to give him one. So I just decided to do this. So anyway, what I have is the custom single meal ration that I ordered from MRE Nation. This one, it says Tuscan, so it's the Tuscan Beef. And this is one of the two that I opened up the bag in order to compare it to the packaging of these single meal rations with MRE Mountain. So since I've already done a review of that one, I decided, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do this one. And I still have my poll open on the community tab of my channel homepage for which one of the My Own Meals I should do next. So I will leave that one open. Oh, AOK Foraging and Adventures is in the house. So I got hot water in a coffee pot ready to heat up for the coffee. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out everything in the bag. So all of the kit bags have been opened because I did that other video of the comparison and packaging. So Pat Miller is in the house. Thanks for dropping in. So we have a dried fruit mix. It's banana, papaya, and pineapple. That's all that's in here. So we have, that's my alert noise is going off, but I'll just ignore those. This is mixed fruit, basically a fruit cocktail. I'm going to turn the noises off on this, so sorry about the shakiness, but there we go. I turned the noises off. So again, I apologize for that. Sorry about that. I had a brief disconnect. Well, thanks for that, Tack. So anyway, I'll continue on. Have a flameless ration heater. So I'll be using that. This is MRE Star branded crackers. And they are a little bent. They have a very good seal, so we'll see how well they held up in transit. Old Smoky's favorite flavor of the First Strike bars. This is a cran raspberry, and yes, they are very good. Have a spoon. This is a standard MRE spoon instead of the more rounded, lighter color spoon that they have put in, but I won't be using that because I will be using my foreignmre.com spork. Oop, actually I got that up and down. I do it every time. foreignmre.com, these on their website, they are made of titanium, so they're very light. Have a bag. Spec MRE, using that. I have a mug for the coffee, and I have my drinking jar for the cold drink. Here is Tuscan Beef. Sorry about that. The shakes with cannellini beans, lentils, and vegetables. And also in here, peanut butter for the crackers. Got a different packaging of toasted corn, either similar to corn nuts or the lighter version that has been showing up in a lot of these rations. Deep rich coffee, which is not so deep, not so rich. So in my mug, I already have an instant coffee that I'm going to add to it. So this stuff by itself, it's very, very weak. So that's why I'll be mixing that with the other coffee that I already got in a mug. Coffee creamer. Great. Look who it is. Ain't no Chuck is in the house. And so is James Ortiz. Thanks to you for dropping in. We got what some call the butt ration. It's just a little folded up batch of tissues you can use for napkins or for other purposes. It's sweetened condensed milk. It can be either used as a coffee creamer, which that's what I'll be using it for, instead of the creamer and the sugar. This is pink lemonade drink mix. That will go in the drinking jar. A moist towelette. There's a packet of sugar, which will go on the coffee because I'll be using sweetened condensed milk. Little packet of pepper, which should be in all mil-spec MREs. Salt. The True Lemon and the True Lime, which I have not yet used because so if I haven't, that would call for those particular flavors, so I hold on to them. And a packet of Smarties, the little sugar dicks, which is not the same as the Smarties that one might find in Canada or in other places. Texas Little Star 63 is here. Well, quite a few people dropping in. And Nicole Lecary Prepper is here. Hidden Numismatist is here. So quite a few dropping in. So if this is your first time watching a review, I'm nowhere near the caliber of Steve 1989 or Old Smoky or G. Schultz or some of the other guys who've been doing it longer, but I got into doing it, and I think it's just quite interesting. It's enjoyable to try different rations from around the world, although that will be harder now because of what the USDA has done to ration sellers and even some reviewers here in the US. So what I'm going to do, I didn't bring it out when I brought out my cups, but I'm going to go get some water to put in here, the Flameless heater, and I'll also start the coffee pot to heat up the water for the coffee. So also while you're in the chat, if you can, check out some of the other channels, mark them for later or whatever. And I'll be right back. Sometimes these tear notches work, sometimes they don't, and they need a little persuasion. I'll just cut it across the top. I'll be using the ration bag for trash disposal. So then these two lines down here, you fill it to within those lines. I got it right to the top of that one. Then saturate the pad, make sure it gets wet. And I drop the entree pouch inside. Straighten up the pad a little bit because it got a little crooked. Again, I'm just making sure the pad gets soaked with the water. And this one is already starting to kick off. Might be able to hear that. Oh yeah, this thing is going to kick off. So I'll just let it sit over there. I'm going to put this coffee wannabe in my mug with the other coffee that I've already got in there. So the deep rich coffee is a finer powder, but the other is a more of a granule. And while I wait for that to get done, I'm going to open up my pink lemonade powder, and I'm going to put it into my drinking jar. I'll fill it to about there. I've had this drinking jar for quite a while. It was something that my mom gave me quite a years ago. And this tray that I'm using is one that I've had since high school. It's a Tupperware lunch tray. I don't know if Tupperware still makes and sells them, but they can be found on eBay. And so my high school class had a fundraiser, one of many, to raise money for our senior trip, which we took to St. Louis in 1984. And so I bought a few things for my mom during that time, and I bought this for myself. Yeah, James, you don't need to put AOK Foraging in timeout. She's one of my Iowa sisters. Or we're just practicing. Oh, Pretford is in the house. Yep, TAC is good people. So there is. Yep. My coffee maker has done. It's heated up the water, and I'll get that, and I'll be right back. I'm going to go ahead and give this a stir. And I'm going to knead up the sweetened condensed milk packet. Oh, yeah, sure. I got that all kneaded up. Now I'm going to go ahead and put that in here. Actually, I'll move this here so I can see it better. This looks like the Eagle brand or the Borden sweetened condensed milk that is sold here in the U.S. and probably similar to what is available in Canada. It is a lot lighter in color than what I've seen in foreign rations, like the Russian or Spanish. But this stuff could be used as an icing on a dessert cake or like a cinnamon bun or something like that. I'm going to mix that up. And this gets it really white. Packets of coffee in there. Well, that would be very, very difficult to find unless sweet, like an artificial sweetener was used. That would be very difficult to source. But who knows, maybe it could be done. I've reviewed halal MREs. I've reviewed some, one of the My Own Meals, which are certified kosher, and some are also certified halal. I'm going to set my drinks off to the side because I'm going to need these spots to put other things in. I'm going to rip into the mixed fruit. I'm going to put that up here. And I'm going to rip into the corn nuggets. And put them right here. Yep, these are the lighter version. They're not as dark or as dense as the corn nuts. I'm going to go ahead and open the crackers and see if I get a bit of a hiss off of it. Just a little bit of one. And we'll see how well they I think they might have got one might have got oh nope, I think they'll come out without too much trouble, but they are broken just as I suspected because they were actually bent. And it feels like one did actually get broken into or sealed into the package. I just have the crackers on top of the dried fruit right now. This First Strike bar, it's similar to a Power Bar. Long cranberry scent comes out as I open it up. It's got Crispies in it. I'm just going to put that right up there. Because I do not have one of those other trays that have like 5 or 6 different sections in it. I'm going to get a bowl to put mixed fruit in. And I'm just going to cut this one across the top because I'm putting it into a bowl instead of out onto the tray. The tear notches are on the side, so if I just ripped it across this way, and if I was out, say, a camp or on the trail or whatever, or at an event, I would have done that and I would have eaten it out of the pouch as if it was a bowl. So there is the fruit cocktail. It's even got some cherries in it. Typical fruit cocktail stuff. I'm just getting into the ration. I'm going to flip the pouch over. And let the other end get hot. So while that sits and does its thing, these peanut butter packets are wider than the ones in the MREs. Ones you'd find in there are usually the same size as the jelly packets. There's a little bit more peanut butter in these than in those. I'm going to check the chat. Corn Feta Experience is here. Thanks for dropping in. Urban Girl, she is across the pond. So thank you for dropping in. I'm doing this on my phone, so the chat does not always stay up. It disappears, so I would have to literally swipe on my screen in order to get it back. So I'm just I'll take a bigger piece of the cracker and squirt some of the peanut butter on there. Oh, that was an air bubble. I just popped. So there's some of the peanut butter. I'll put some of the grape jelly right next to it. So there is the grape jelly. Yes, the main entree, which is the Tuscan beef, is still in here. I just flipped it over because I wanted to have a little bit more time in the bag. So while that heats up, I'm going to go ahead and sample some of these other things. These are the toasted corn nuggets. They are lighter and not as dense as the commercial brand known as corn nuts, but they're still not bad. They're crunchy. They're salty. These are just the original flavor. So here's the fruit mix. There's a piece of a banana chip, piece of pineapple, and a piece of papaya. That's all that's in there. Sugar coated. So they're a little sweeter. Of course, when you dry fruit, it does tend to sweeten up a little bit. But that's not a bad fruit mix. I'm going to sample the coffee. Yep, adding that other coffee definitely helped. Otherwise, it probably would have tasted like something rather weak. This is peanut butter and jelly on the cracker. These Ration crackers do not have a whole lot of salt, but they do taste like a saltine because that's pretty much what they are. They're just not as salty. They would be like the low sodium versions that you can buy in a store. The peanut butter is a smooth peanut butter. Sometimes, on a rare occasion, you might get chunky peanut butter in a ration. Now I'm going to take a drink. This does not look like typical pink lemonade. It looks more like almost the color of a grapefruit. It does taste like a pink lemonade. It's just more salmon color than pink. This is the First Strike bar. I mean, it's pliable, so it's hard to breaks. But now you can see the crispies in it. The cranberry and raspberry flavors are definitely there. And again, they're kind of a power bar. Now this is the fruit is quite soft in here. But there is a bit of everything. Only one other piece of cherry that's in there. But that's okay. Sometimes got lots of cherries and sometimes you don't. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pull this out of here. Sometimes these heaters can stink. I'm just going to shove that in the bag. On this one, the tear notch is across this way instead of going this way. Come to see what the Tuscan beef looks like. Quite saucy. I may be dropping some of the cracker bits in that sauce. A lot of sauce in this. Yeah, I could have done that. I could have got the pizza cutter. But there is what it looks like with some of the sauce dripped away. The beef is in really, really small pieces, but it's not so fine as to be like ground beef. The cannellini beans and the lentils are quite soft. And I'm not sure what other vegetables are in there. I'm not seeing any. Unless it's all much of puree. There may be bits of onion. Not bad. Yeah, well, I know I would have preferred rice, but in the absence of rice, I'll take some of these crackers and put them in there. That will definitely soak up some of the sauce. And it'll give it a little extra something to chew on. Yep, that definitely helps. I just picked up a bit of carrot. So there is a little bit of veggie something in there. But yeah, adding the crackers definitely a good idea. I kind of planned on that since I saw that the crackers are going to be busting anyway. Let's drop a few more bits in there. Or I could drop in some of these corn nuggets because they're that might and I'll also add a little bit of salt. This stuff is not very salty, which is perfectly fine because some people might not want or need all that salt. So see how this goes with a bit of the corn nuggets in there. Yep, that definitely helps. Yep, it heated up pretty good. Sometimes these ration heaters may need a little help. Older ration heaters, you would put the salt in there, or just mix up some salt water and put that in there, and that usually helps kick it off. But these seem to be newer heaters. That one that I use is not the same as what you'll get in a mil-spec MRE. Those are green, and they're a little bit narrower. And if they're, say, like more than 3 or 4 years old, I will automatically throw salt in it, just to kick it off. Tack is back. Welcome back. Tack and her wife Brenda were, as long as Plain Old and Corn-Fed Experience, which is a new channel, by the way. They just started to putting up some videos. But they were some of the people who were at the Midwest YouTuber meetup earlier this month. And so most of us who were there at least got a little bit of footage of what we were doing. So you can check out other channels. Plain Old Chuck, Jeep Things Outdoors. I haven't seen any from Bearded CB802 yet. Yep, October 2020, we will do that again. And I don't know if it'll be at the same place or if it'll be at a different place, but Lake Miami, that's where we're at. If you go back there again, I hope to see an elk next time, because some of the others got to see some of the resident elk that lived there, but I did not. But Craig Haggard Outdoors, he got some great footage of the elk that were there. If you hear any meowing in the background, that's my 16-year-old tuxedo cat, Mila. Yep, we did that. Although I knew exactly how I was going to perform. I knew I was going to put every single shot in the mud. But, you know, it is what it is. At least I tried. In addition to the target shooting, we had what we called a blanket trade, where we would put out items to sell or to barter, and so we did that and came away with some pretty cool items. I got a GoPro knockoff that I need to buy some accessories for, plus some more batteries for it. Then I'll be able to do some video shooting with it. I was able to unload a few sets of the Ranger beads that I make with just regular what's called pony beads or hair beads, or like kids would make jewelry with, and shoestrings. Yep, I just use shoestrings. Or strings of a similar size so that the beads do not slip. Yep. Oh, yeah. I picked up a couple of pieces of fat wood myself. Plus, other people had some knives, and I picked up one of those, exactly like one my late dad used to carry. A $1.10. I'm going to put a few more bits of cracker in here. And a few more of these corn nuggets. Yeah, my dad carried a $1.10. That was the only pocket knife I had ever seen him carry. And so when I saw that there, and it looked exactly like how I remember the last time I saw my dad's knife, I had to get it, so I did. And of course, the best part of that trip was the good food that we had. A few people sampled the beef bacon that I brought. And we had a spit roast. 2 things on that spit roast. And it worked. We had a potluck, and it was pretty cool to see what different people would have to offer. So, yeah, that was some great stuff. So who knows what we'll do next year when we do it again. But that's okay. I stink at sharpening too. All I have is Just one of those cheap stones that you can get for a few US dollars. And I have a puck for axes and hatchets, but a proper axe or hatchet is one thing I do not own yet. Prep for it if you... Yep, it's pretty good with the additions that I made. So prep for it if you have to go, that's fine. Thanks for dropping in. Or if you're saying goodbye to someone else. You know, even if someone comes in only for a few minutes, it's something that they can check back later if they want to watch the whole thing after I finish the stream and YouTube gets done processing it. Some people do go back and rewatch live streams that they either missed a few minutes of. I don't usually do that because I'm usually looking to find something else. This it's titanium. It's a very light metal. It's sold by MRE.com, same as this mug I'm drinking my coffee out of. It looks kind of like my fire sporks, although the spoon end's a little bit different, but it has some serrations over here on this side, so that if you needed to cut up a piece of meat, or just you wanted to like split a big piece of soft potato in half or something like that, you can do that. But I took this on my to the YouTuber meetup, and these things take up very, very little weight. And, they're nowhere near as long as a MRE spoon, but if you don't need the length of that, but you want something that's a little more versatile, these are like $9.99 on the Foreign MRE website. And you get a little pouch to keep it in. And I actually use that pouch to keep all of my sporks in that I have for camping. I normally don't keep this one in there because I'm using it for the ration reviews. So I usually keep this one in the kitchen. But I may get another one just to keep in with the rest of my camp utensils. I do have another one that I was going to send to Polly over in England, but after I found out that he had passed, he was another ration reviewer, and he also used to do model train building, and he was building replica K rations. But when he passed, I decided that, well, I'll have to give that to someone else. So I do have that other one, but that one is still sealed. in the original packaging, and that one will go to someone else. Thanks for dropping in, Nicole. Hopefully things are still going good in your piece of Ohio. Yep, she lives right on Lake Erie. You know you got a good one, you got a lake for a backyard. Haven't checked out her channel for quite some time. I'll have to go over there later to see what kind of videos she's been putting up. Yep, I haven't done any fishing since the summer. I took my rod to the meetup, but I never did go down to the lake to actually fish. But maybe one of these days before it gets too cold and Des Moines River freezes, maybe I might go try my luck off of one of the structures that's on what we call here the river walk. Yep, I remember seeing that movie years ago. I went to Columbus, Ohio back in 1983 for a competition. In the middle of January. And while we were there, we caught, it didn't snow a whole lot, but the wind was very strong and it was coming off the lake. So that was quite cold, but we still had a good trip. But I haven't been there since. Maybe one of these days I'll be able to get back there. But because I don't drive, I would have to have a driver or a pilot. Yep. We have a similar saying down here in Iowa: if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes. I suppose every place says something like that. I need a little more crunch. I'm just finishing up the sauce. Oh, we got some hills here. Might not be able to hear her down there, but my cat is down near my feet meowing. I'm just putting some more of the peanut jelly on a piece of cracker. Now, the grape jelly's not too bad. I've had better, but I've definitely had worse. Speaking of jellies, so far my favorite Ration jellies have to be the French ones or the Russian apple butter. I did a comparison video earlier of 2 different packages of Russian apple butter. Drizzly Taco is in the house all the way from Vegas. Thanks for joining me for dinner, although I finished part of it. I had the Tuscan Beef from MRE Nation. It was one of their custom rations that I ordered. I chose the basic components like the main entree, the dessert, the snacks, including the cran raspberry first strike bar. Underneath these crackers is a fruit mix, banana, papaya, and pineapple. This is supposed to be pink lemonade. It tastes like pink lemonade, but it looks more like a grapefruit color. Which I find kind of odd. It was different than the last time I had the pink lemonade. It looked like a proper pink. It wasn't this weird salmon color. Well, that's okay. Some people like these dried fruits. I happen to like them. Some people don't. And it also probably depends on the packaging and which particular fruits and how they're processed. I've dried apples and papaya, cantaloupe even. Yeah, I dried cantaloupe on my dehydrator. And I tried to dry some mango, but I think that particular mango was pretty much, it's very soft and almost like a fruit, very rough textured fruit leather So I just left it on a parchment. I didn't even attempt to try to peel that off the parchment. I just put that in a Ziploc bag. But yeah, I've experimented with a little bit of fruit drying on my dehydrator, but mostly vegetables I've done. I did some scallions recently, so I got those in a Mylar bag to save for later use. I haven't tried any, well, the only meat I dried was some pre-cooked and seasoned chicken. That's the only meat that I've dried so far. I've never tried to make any jerky because I don't have the right accessories for doing jerky. And I don't have the skills needed to cut meat super thin, almost like cracker thin. But one day I'll get those and I'll be able to do more stuff. It's one of those inexpensive dehydrators that only have one temperature setting. And it doesn't even show it, but I stuck a meat thermometer in there, and I saw it get as high as 140 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm not sure what that is Celsius. I stink at those kinds of conversions. I'd have to get some kind of a calculator and calculate that. But anyway, that's what I saw on my meat thermometer when I stuck it in one of the holes to see how hot it was getting. And that's what I saw. Now these corn nuts are not as the commercial ones. As you can see, they're also lighter in color, and they're smaller. The corn nuts that you buy in the store are probably twice as big as these, and they're a lot more dense. So these you would probably have no trouble with. Now this is very hard to take a bite off of because these are dense, but this cran raspberry first strike bar, it's really good. I suppose it's supper time for you, since you're in the next time zone over. A few months ago, I did a comparison between the chocolate first strike bar and a chocolate flavored Canadian Soldier Fuel bar, which is nearly identical to the first strike bar. It was a little bit thicker and a little bit longer, so there was a little bit more of it, but The texture and flavor were nearly identical. So, but the Soldier Fuel Bar is not quite as dense, and the little crispy bits are finer than they are in the First Strike bar. No harm in that. Breakfast for dinner. We did that a lot when we were kids. We would have biscuits and gravy, or potato pancakes. We ate a lot for supper when we were kids. Or if you have a breakfast patties, or you make an egg biscuit sandwich with a sausage or cheese or whatever. And of course, when I was in college back in the 80s, the food there was so bad that I would hit the cereal dispensers because those were left out all the time. So I would eat cereal and salad. Oh, grits are also good. You can make them sweet or savory. In fact, the cafeteria in our state capitol building, they sometimes will do a savory grits recipe with a topping on it that's really good. Yeah, they have upped their quality of their food in the Capitol cafeteria. Just in the past few years that I had been going there to shoot video of stuff that's going on there. And I've noticed a difference. Well, thanks for dropping in, Urban Girl. Yeah, it's past your bedtime over there on the other side of the pond. But normally when I do these, I prefer to do these on Sundays because, like I said at the beginning, the guy that I watch who usually does these on Saturdays, he's with his son at an event. So he will be doing his live stream tomorrow. Old Smoky. And he does a bunch of different things on his channel with rations. He gets into sea rations. He gets into vintage bag rations like the brown bag MRE. And some foreign rations if he can still get them. Or people will send him different foods that he will sample. Like Japanese snacks, or Vietnamese snacks, or Korean snacks, or something like that. And because he smokes, he also will bring out some vintage cigarettes. Plus, he likes to collect those types of things, like when cigarettes would sometimes be sold in a metal can. If he can get a hold of one of those cans, he keeps those cans. And when, speaking of cans, when he's opening a can, say from a sea ration, he will use a military-style can opener that he keeps on his keyring. And the Australian can opener, known as the Fred, or field ration eating device, That is now on my keyring. So that way, if I need a can opener for some reason, I got that little thing. It's longer than a P51, but the cutting edge is shaped like the P38 and P51. But that longer handle on it, plus the spoon end, that gives you more of a something to hold on to. Actually added a French coffee to the deep rich coffee packet that was in this ration. A deep rich coffee, not so much. You either have to only use maybe 4 ounces of water, if that much, to get the right flavor, or you have to double the coffee. So I added the French coffee that the packet had gotten torn open, so I put that in a little Ziploc bag, a little pill pouch that you can get at the drugstore for in packs of 50 here in the U.S. at Walgreens and I think CVS. I've also seen them at Walmart. But the pill pouches are probably about the size of maybe this part of the first strike, like up to here. Put pills in them, but I like to use them for putting other small items in to keep them clean or dry. Well, thanks for dropping in, Pennsylvania Prepper. Didn't see you come in, so glad you could drop in for a few. But anyway, so I saved that French instant coffee, which is more of the granule type instead of the fine powder. And that definitely was an improvement. So I used the sweetened condensed milk in here instead of the separate creamer and sugar packets that were in there. But these will get saved. They'll get put into one of my brew kits that I put together for either an emergency kit or just for travel. For when I go camping, I'll put those in my brew kit for the next camping trip I go on, and they'll already be there. Hopefully that next trip will be in March, unless someone is willing to give me a ride sooner to go somewhere and to play in the woods. I think I'm going to try a little something here. Probably too late to do it, but what the heck. I'm going to I put some of these dried fruit in here, see if it will absorb some of the syrup in this fruit cocktail. I'll just let that sit. See what that does. For those of you who are still in here, I'll say what I said earlier. On my channel page, the community tab, there is a poll. for which of the my own meals I would get into next. And these are vegetarian, certified kosher, certified halal. The choices are cheese tortellini, pasta with vegetables, or vegetarian stew. And the accessory packs that come with those, if you buy them as a case, and that's how I got them from CT up in Canada. He sent me a full case of 12, but there are 3 of each flavor, so there's only 4 different choices, but that's okay. You know, I do 4 reviews, and then the rest I eat as I will. You know, if I want a quick meal, I'll just bust into one of those and have that for lunch or supper. And the accessory packs are all the same. They contain various snacks, drinks, a spoon, a paper wad like this, a moist towelette, you know, a couple pieces of hard candy, things like that. But when I get into the next one, when I decide to close that poll, I'll pull up just the random accessory pack because they're basically all the same. The only difference there might be would be in the hard candy that is put in there. I just throw a couple random bits like a peppermint disc, cinnamon, butterscotch, chocolate mint, you know, whatever. I'll just throw a couple of pieces randomly in there. Other than that, the coffee is the same. The cocoa mix is the same. And the coffee they put in there is actually a known brand. And not this coffee wannabe. So if you have any questions or other comments or anything else you want to chat about while I'm finishing off my supper? Yeah, welcome back. While you were away, a few people had to leave, but I'm still here. I was just telling about just some other stuff that's coming up. The poll for the next My Own Meals review, that's up still, and I'll probably leave that up for another week. And then see if the cheese tortellini remains the top vote getter. The Florentine lasagna was the first one that I did. So when I first put the poll up, that was a top vote getter, and the cheese tortellini was last. Now it's ahead. At least last time I checked. I haven't checked it today yet, but that seemed to be the top vote getter. Well, I put the dried fruit in here. I think all I got in there was the bananas, but they stayed pretty dry. The papaya soaked up some of the syrup. Or the pineapple, I mean. I didn't get a piece of the papaya in there, but that's okay. It was just something different to try. Just finished off the corn nuggets. I'm just going to squeeze the rest of this peanut butter out here. Well, most of it. What doesn't make it to the cracker will just get sucked out of the packet anyway. Oh, that does it for the grape jelly. Yep, go ahead. Cast your votes for the next My Own Meals. And so probably next week. Maybe next weekend I'll go ahead and bust into that one. Whichever one makes it to the top. And I may go ahead and do a third poll to decide between the two remaining ones. And then that will be it for the My Own Meals, unless I choose to buy some of the entrees that I've seen on eBay. I've seen some with meat, like beef and chicken, because they are at least certified kosher. None of them would have any pork in them. But finding the accessory packs for the My Own Meals is very difficult. I've never seen them, at least on eBay. I don't know if you have to buy a whole case to get those. But the best buy date on the entrees, at least the ones that I have, are 2021. But some of the snacks have already gone past their best buy date, so I either go ahead and eat those, and I've eaten some of the snacks that are in the accessory packs that will not make it to video. In fact, I've already stripped them. But yeah, some of those are pretty decent snacks, and some I put into Mylar bags with an oxygen absorber to preserve them for a little bit longer. You know, they may make it into my camping food bag, or they may go into my bug out bag. Who knows? Right now I have other food in there. I just finished off the peanut butter, just straight out of the packet. The banana pieces that I put in there, they're still crunchy. Oops, sorry about that. I keep bumping this mount. Anyway, this little bit right there you see above my finger, that's actually part of the mount. It's a flexible desk mount that I clip onto the side of the table, and I can angle it pretty much any way I want, while still maintaining a balance. I use that. Oh, dang it, did it again. I use that instead of a tripod because otherwise I wouldn't be able to see the screen. I would have to have another device to look at the chat. Now I'd be turning away. And I'd rather avoid doing that, so I just do it this way. And I can get the best angle I can. And you also may have, if you've been to my streams before, you may have noticed a slight change in the lighting. A couple days ago, I put in a new light bulb into my ceiling fan light to replace one that burned out that was producing a slightly different color. The one I put in is an LED bulb, but it's a different white than the other two that are in there. The other two are more of a yellowish, kind of reminiscent of the light from a frosted incandescent bulb. This one, the one that I just put in, is more of a true white or almost a blue white. And I do not even have my book lights on that to try to enhance the lighting, even though I just changed the batteries. But yeah, so hopefully this will improve the lighting a little bit. And because it's an LED, they will not only last a lot longer before I have to change it out, they use less energy, and that means my electric will be just a little bit lower. So hopefully that makes the lighting just a little bit better. It does make the tray look more white than it actually is. But I'm hoping that things won't look so totally off color than before. Those compact fluorescents, unless you get the true white, the daylight ones, instead of the weird pink ones, I hate the color those produce. You know, then you get some weird coloring in your videos. At least that's, to me, it was just too weird. So I put in the first two LEDs, the incandescent looking ones, I guess you call it a warm white instead of a cool white. Those took out a lot of that off color that the pink compact fluorescents were giving off, but I still had one left in there, so that one finally bit the big one. And so I replaced it with one of my newest LEDs that I bought, and I think it looks a lot better. So if you don't like the, let me know in the comments or in the chat, or if you're watching this video later on, if you don't like the lighting, let me know. And if I'm not sure how I could change it again unless I replace the other two LED bulbs and put two more in, like the one that I changed a couple of days ago, because I do have a 4-pack of those. I could always reposition those LEDs elsewhere in my apartment. I haven't seen any new chat, so I don't know if you're not able to hear me right now, or if I'm buffering. So far, I've only had one disconnect, which is very good. I'm happy about that. Or if for some reason you're not able to type in the chat, I understand, but I just thought I'd ask to see what you think of the slight change in my lighting. I do these in my living room because that has the best use of space that I have in this little apartment. Plus, I can easily get to the kitchen to get what I need when I need to. But other than that, if you have any other questions or not, anything else you want to say, or if not, I'll probably just go ahead and shut this down. Let YouTube process it, and once that's done, it goes into my review playlist, and that's where I placed the apple butter comparison video I did earlier today. So you're getting 2 from me today, and I hope you enjoyed that one. And a few days ago I did Ration chocolate comparison, so go check that one out if you haven't seen that one yet. I've been wanting to do something like that ever since I've done that CR1M from Australia that had the chocolate ration bar. I wanted a US chocolate ration bar to compare to that one, and so I finally got that one. Oh yeah, that's thanks, James. Yeah, if it would be a better improvement if I swapped out the warm white bulbs with 2 more of the ones I got in the center. The one that's actually aiming right at my head at the moment. I can do that. Or if you like it the way it is, it doesn't matter to me. I can do that. But I do hope that this lighting change does help. I know it will definitely help on my electric bill. And I got 3 more of these cool white bulbs that I can I only put 2 in because the 4th socket in the ceiling fan is messed up, so no matter what bulb I put in there, it will not light up. It will act like it's burning out, so I just don't use that one. And that's perfectly fine if I don't have a bulb in that 4th socket. I think I need to stir this drink a little bit more. There's some powder that kind of settled down at the bottom. Yeah. Yep. I'm going to go ahead and call this one done. I just have a part of my first strike bar and my drinks left over. And I'll go ahead and hand this off to YouTube to process. And then when that's done, I'll put it in the Ration Review playlist. So again, thank you all for watching. And catch you on the streams. Catch you on the flip side.